Global family. I am Just Bill, aka
Good,
William S. Peters, and this is,
good morning. I'm Julia Nadia Yilmaz.
and we are from Inner Child Press. I am the founder and director, and Julia is the co-chair and also the director of our editing department. There's a few things we wanted to share with you that were, stirring our spirits. One of the first things we want to do is announce our expansion. As most that know us, for years we have been publishing anthologies that encompass global participation in as far as the poets and also the readers, with World Healing, World Peace starting way back in 2011, and we publish that every 2 years, and a number of other anthologies. And if you go to our website, www.innerchildpress, under anthologies, you will see what we're talking about. But today is something more important. We wanted to announce, our recent global expansion, some not too recent, as we have been adding, to our cadre of power, if you would, certain individuals that have a global influence. Our motto of building bridges of cultural understanding is beginning to, if you would, become more and more meaningful with the challenging times, that our world is facing. Wouldn't you say so? You got to speak up.
I know. I'm just listening to the candy.
Anyway, we're out here on our sanctuary, enjoying a good, cool, well, not so cool, but a good morning. And we wanted to share this message with you. First of all, we'd like to announce who our board of directors are. And again, as I said, if you go to our website, you'll see who they are. But of course, as I said, I'm the founder and Julia is the co-chair and director of editing services. But we also have Mr. Faradine Shehu, who hails from Kosovo, which is the Balkans, in Eastern Europe, who is our director of culture. Okay, and we're so happy to have him on board. We also have Mr. Nazar Sartawi, who hails from Jordan, who is our director of international relations. Okay, and we also have Miss Gail Weston Shazur, who is the director of our anthologies. So keep your eye on Gail, or any upcoming anthologies, because she will be announcing it, as well as we will be announcing in our myriad of sites and presences on Facebook, which includes 3 pages I have, 2 pages Julia has, Julia Yilmaz, and also editing as a discipline. We also have pages, Inner Child Magazine, World Healing, World Peace, and also Inner Child Press. And of course, with our groups, we have a myriad of groups, which is Inner Child Radio, The Hour of Power. Let's see. No. The Year of the Poet page, which we'll talk about that later, about the Year of the Poet. But look for Inner Child, our presence, throughout the Facebook. And, we will keep you abreast with the announcements that are going on. But going further with our directors, as I said, Mr. Nazar Sartawi, who has been very, very instrumental in bringing voices from the Arab world. And as I said, building bridges of cultural understanding. It's important because, in the West, we tend to vilify things we do not know. Going forward, we also have Miss Kimberly Burnham, who is our director of media. And we are so thankful for having her on board. Miss Deborah Smart, who is our director of publicity. Hook up with Deborah. She can help you with, promoting your product, your brand. And also, she's a very, very magnificent, wonderful lady. And as I said, one smart lady. Okay, that's Deborah Smart. We also have newly added Mr. DeAndre Hawthorne, also known as Black Ice. And he has a prolific movement going on, not only in Chicago. It started in Chicago, but it is now become global with presences in Africa and Ghana and various other places, Great Britain. But they are poets that, if you would focus on spoken word, performance poetry, we push readership, but we also push listening. because a lot of times we're not listening to the drums that are beating, in humanity that are giving us insight or giving us warning or bringing to consciousness the issues that we need to address. And then finally, you have a wonderful soul who we just recently met Mr. Ashok Bhargava. Bhargava. I always want to mess up his name, but Ashok is the founder and director of the WIN Awards, which is Writers International Network. Yeah, and he hails out of British Columbia, Canada, which Hoy and I were so blessed to meet him, I guess last month sometime. Yes. We went to travel to Vancouver to receive the award, the WIN Award, which we're so, excited about, still excited. And what a lovely soul. But he has graciously consented to be part of our board of directors. And what I mean by board of directors, this is our steering committee. This is our pool of resources whereby we can reach in, for guidance, direction, vision, and all those things to empower the voices across our wonderful world, the voices of humanity. So check us out. That's www.innerchildpress.com. So I'm not done yet because we've taken it a few steps further, and we've created a board of cultural ambassadors, which will fall, technically, they will fall under the direction of Mr. Faradeen Shehu, who is our director of culture, but also, international relations with Mr. Nizar Sartawi. So we're very excited about what can happen here. In reference to these particular directors as they carry not so much the brand of Inner Child Press forward, but the consciousness that our words can be meaningful, our words can make a difference, our thoughts, our insights, our feelings, our hearts, our love for humanity. And it's time that we all step it up and consider. And I want to say this, we're not the only horse in the barn, Inner Child Press. There are many, many other people that are doing similar work, encompassing and embracing, writers and poets from all over the world to gather their thoughts, including the United Nations, and we just did World Healing World Peace, but as far as organizations, we just did a nomination for Mr. Faradeen Shehu for the Arab world, and that was
the Sheikh Hamad Achievement Award.
The Sheikh Hamad Achievement Award. Congratulations, Mr. Faradeen Shehu, on that esteemed award and nomination. And then there's our dear Patty and Swapna, who are doing wonderful works in India and globally, not just in India, but globally. So keep your eyes peeled, get to know these people. Padmaja, forgive me.
Patty.
She go by Patty, but just type on your Facebook thing, Patty, Paddy, and you'll find her. But there's so many people that are doing really wonderful works that, as I said, embrace and empower your voice if you're a poet or a writer. So do consider that. Okay, our cultural ambassadors. Boy, are we so proud and so excited, and we feel tremendously honored to have them on board. Our cultural ambassadors, let's start from the top. We have Elizabeth, I can't say your last name, Liz, forgive me. Elizabeth Castillo, who has been with Inner Child for many, many years. She was a writer, a column writer, and editor for Inner Child magazine. We also have, and Liz hails from the Philippines. Okay. And would that be Southeast Asia?
That is, yes.
Okay, Southeast Asia. And then we also have Miss Faliha Hassan, who hails from Iraq, who now lives in the United States. And she, in essence, is bringing culture, from that particular Arab region of the world, into the United States, not only through her own writings, but, in the work that she's doing. Like, for example, Iraqi Voices, which was an anthology we did to empower voices from Iraq, because all too often, as I said earlier, we tend to vilify the things we do not know. So we felt it was important to give those voices, a page, in our publishing company, as well as the Kurdish voices, and we also have Palestine coming up soon. That's an anthology for, where the Palestinians get to voice, their insights and concerns, their hearts and what have you. So we're really excited about that. But anyway, going forward, our other cultural ambassadors are Alicia Kuberska, from Poland, who represents Eastern Europe. Okay. Laura Sharazak from France, who represents, that would be Western Europe? Western Europe. Forgive me for my geography, even though we go around, we go around the world doing what we do. We're still learning, okay? We're still learning. And then we have Ashok, of course, who represents Canada, okay? And we also have Kimberly Burnham. Kimberly Burnham. I'm gonna have to look at my notes, so forgive me. Kimberly Burnham, who represents the Pacific Northwest. So we're very excited about that, about their input, the representation of what we're doing. And let's see, who did I forget? Oh, how can I forget? Huh? Several. Okay. Okay. I can't say Sai's name. I'm gonna say Sai. Okay, Tizmin Yishan Sai. Okay, and he represents the Republic of China. So we're now in China, just like Donald Trump. Reference, but we're in China. And Sai, we thank you so much for bringing us into that particular culture. And of course we have our dear Swapna Behera. Swapna, who is also a member of the Poetry Posse. And shout out to the Poetry Posse while I'm here. You've been doing wonderful work. We're in our 5th year. But Swapna Behera, who represents India, and she's a much awarded and decorated poet. And we are so honored, Swapna, to have you with us. So that pretty much encompasses and covers our cultural ambassadors. Now to our message. So now that you know who we are, go to innerchildpress.com. And you can see more about who we are, what we're doing, the work that we're doing. And we like to think we're doing a good work, but we will keep on pushing, keep on trying. And forgive me for not shaving this morning. But I did shape it up. You see the little line there? Yeah, I'm a little crazy. But anyway, on to the message. When I personally think about writing and the voice that each of us have, or the potential voice that each of us have that maybe perhaps we're not utilizing. For me, I express it not only through poetry, but through other writings and short stories or what have you. But the voice that we have, it becomes integrally important to share that voice. It becomes integrally important to listen. It becomes integrally important to encourage others to share their voice. One of the issues and problems that we have on a global basis is the repression of our voices. Well, whether it's something that we do or something that society does, our parents, or or the circumstances we live in. But it's integrally important to share our voices. Our ignorance as a humanity is abound. I have learned so much in my travels, met so many wonderful souls who want pretty much the same thing we want. They want to live. They want to have a good life. They want happiness. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants bombs dropping out of the sky. Nobody wants bullets flying through the air, whether it be in the cities of America or London or anywhere else. My heart goes out to all those lands that are at risk and the people and the families that are at risk due to policies set by these politicians. I have an idea. We need to take all the politicians, put them in a room with a Louisville Slugger, and let them work it out. Put them on the front lines. Because we, the common people, suffer the policies of these oligarchs and power mongers and megalomaniacs.
making decisions
Yeah,
behind the
making
text is
decisions
something else, but then being in the
with not
front,
having their constituency in mind, or the care,
yeah,
or the
yeah,
of their constituent, or humanity in mind. Let's
yeah,
just talk about humanity.
mm,
Um, Humanity is struggling in a sense on many fronts to survive. We talk about war, famine, disease, economics, natural disasters. Um, the first thing is that through our writings, we have the ability to bring consciousness to these particular issues. And I'm gonna get Julia more in frame because she likes to sit on the side. Consciousness into these issues, and then we have to encourage people to listen and to read. Reading is a challenge these days with all the electronic media that we have, people can watch, which is one reason which led us to do this video. You know, um, so we will continue that work as long as we're breathing. And as I mentioned earlier, we just got back from Canada not too long ago, to commune with poets, global poets, through the Win Awards. And thank you, Ashok, again, and your lovely family, Ada and Neil, and all the poets, that we met, and dignitaries, and emissaries that we met, entertainers, during that trip, because it really was a wonderful trip. And, my God, if you ever get a chance to visit Vancouver, do so. It is one of the most beautiful places on the earth, from Whistler to Vancouver. I mean, really. Anyway, and then after that, we took a trip, down the eastern seaboard, which included Maryland, Virginia, where else? And in Virginia, in Alexandria, we met the international acclaimed fine artist, Mr. Lukman Ahmed, okay, who also is Kurdish and hails from Syria. And we were thankful for that meeting. And we actually got a painting. Yeah, we got a painting. But anyway, we also went down to the Black Poetry Fest, which was which was sponsored by Mr. Mark Goggins. And shout out to Mark Goggins for the wonderful work he's doing, empowering voices, to share their words, to change and alter the consciousness. That's redundant, change, alter. Okay, to alter the consciousness of how we're living. We also went down to Savannah, Georgia, to visit some relatives, and over to Atlanta. And then we came back up to spend some time with my daughter in Mooresville, North Carolina. Then we came on back home. Well, we didn't come back home. We came to my brother Rodney's house, and we spent some time in New Jersey, and there we had an interview with Dr. Stanley L. It was an interview for Leah Hassan, one of our authors, and also a cultural ambassador. And we were graciously invited to participate. And so, everything that we do, there's an opportunity to give out a brochure, to give out a card, to give a word, to share a word, to share a poem. And it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. Coming up, we have another grand experience coming up. And all this came as a result of the things that we do. Many people have approached me and asked me, oh, I want to do what you do. I didn't know I was going to be doing what I do. The spirit just came to me, and we just followed it, trusted in it. But coming up July 22nd, we'll be flying out to Jordan, and I will be participating in the Jerash Poetry Festival there in Jordan. And I'm so honored to be the first non-Arab poet to present there. While in Jordan, we're going to be in Jordan for about a month. We will be going to Palestine, where we will be doing a book launch for 7 days in Palestine. I need to get those book covers, like World Healing Palestine. Think we can grab them real quick?
Yes,
okay. And I'll continue running my mouth while we're doing that. Yeah. But anyway, 7 days in Palestine, we're going to be launching that on a book and speaking tour in Palestine. And that book came as a result of my visit last year in Palestine, when I witnessed the conditions of humanity. And I felt so moved that I had to write something about it. I just had to write. That's what I have to do anyway. I have to write. But 7 days in Palestine. We also will be filming a poetry documentary where we will be infusing poetry with the conditions and bringing it back home for you to see. Okay, because I think it's important that you say that. I mean, we have similar problems here in the United States, in the streets of America, that is going on in Palestine with the, atrocities that humans effectuate against human beings, and you know, we're trying to kind of bring that to an end. We're trying to bring all these atrocities to an end, and we will keep the faith. We will. Anyway, I'm waiting for Julia. You got one? Anyway, as we're sitting here, it's a beautiful day out here today. And like I said, we're in our sanctuary. I don't know if you can see. There's some on the other side where we just brought our house plants out. And it's such a wonderful atmosphere. And it's invigorating. And unfortunately, we're in a natural landscape, where there's, trees. But I wanted to show you, this is 7 Days in Palestine. Can you see that? Okay, and as I said, this entire book was written during my 7 days in Palestine. And in there, we have some pictures. I don't know if you can see the pictures, but we have some pictures,
I think they should.
for you. They show up pictures, that I've taken just to kind of show you, what Palestine is about, to familiarize you culturally with what is going on, in our world. See, all of it is our world. The world is made for the people, not for the leaders, not for the oligarchs, not for the corporations, not for the politicians, not for anybody. It is made for all of us, and that's, part of the struggle that continues to go on as we see what's going on in Syria and various other places, Afghanistan, South Africa, and various other places across the world. Okay, I mentioned earlier, world healing, world peace. Keep your eyes open. Stay attuned. Join our groups. Inner Child Press. World Healing, World Peace is done every 2 years, and it is about sharing the consciousness of world healing, world peace. But anyway, back to our tour. As I said, we're going to Palestine, and as you know, I can talk a little bit. Boys, you're being kind of quiet. Okay, so after Palestine and Jordan, we fly to Morocco. Yeah, Morocco. We're going to Morocco. We have some friends in Morocco. I've been there a couple of times. And a shout out to Aziz, Matasir, and also Badia Amak. And forgive me if I mess names up. I haven't got that Arabic tongue working quite yet, nor the Turkish tongue or the German tongue. I'm still struggling with English. But anyway, we'll be going to Morocco, and then we'll be boating from Morocco to Tunisia to visit Abdel Hakim. They have an international poetry festival there as well, which I participated in last year. And we will be launching the book Tunisia, My Love. Okay, which was written for Tunisia, Providence. It's just a wonderful blessing. From Tunisia, we'll be going over to Macedonia. We have some friends there, Dimitar and Susanna, okay, who we met at the 100,000 Poets for Change last year. And we'll be doing a tour of Macedonia. And from Macedonia, we go to our brother's home, Faradine Shehu, to commune with him once again. We've been there a few times. Once again, during the Kosovo International Poetry Festival, where again we will get to meet, wonderful souls and share our words and share our thoughts and commune and break bread and drink wine together, and we're also going to be touring, Kosovo, and hopefully the other surrounding Balkan states such as Montenegro. We already mentioned Macedonia. Maybe we'll get to Bulgaria and, Serbia. We don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what the Spirit has for us. And I want to make the announcement. I want to tell them about the wonderful news for you. Julia, if you do not know, is recently retired professor from Penn State University. As a matter of fact, the retirement officially took place just 2 days ago, June 30th. Okay, so we have all this time on our hands to take on projects, to take on thoughts. But someone tapped her on the shoulder. And so Julia will be, last year we had an opportunity to go to Prison, Kosovo. And in Prison, a lot of people, speak Julia's native tongue, which is Turkish, because of the Ottoman Empire. Why don't you tell the story? Because you're going to actually be talking at the University of Persia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's going to have an opportunity, and keep your fingers crossed for her, to guest lecture at the University of Persia. So tell them about your joy. I did all the talking.
But we would like to keep it within the inner child press activity, so I don't want to take.
That is inner child press. You are inner child press. Come on.
That's true.
Come on,
okay.
Stop that.
Well, I am excited, of course, because while I have retired from the university, this particular initiative never meant for me to retire from teaching and learning. And learning and teaching, as I prefer to call this dynamics. So I am, I think, extremely excited. I cannot even find the words about the possibility that I will be welcomed as a guest lecturer at the University of Persia. Again, thanks to earned, yes, Fahrettin Shehu. I had communicated that my desire to him in terms of sabbatical leave, anyway, not to get into too many details. But now that I am, I have my own schedule.
You're free.
I am free, exactly.
Except for we have her enslaved and chained, to the mission.
That's true. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. At this point, we don't know what I would be teaching. I know I have a long list of possible courses. Or actually sections. Bill always does this because I don't like to talk about that. So, but it could be the subject matters could easily vary between Islamic from Islamic feminisms, the Islamic feminism, non-Western feminist literature, or Turkish literature, contemporary Turkish literature, its influence on the region, but also in the world, because not many people realize that there is quite a bit of, there is a considerable influence on Turkish literature, and I'm not just talking about the contemporary Turkish literature. So several things, cultural bridges again,
building bridges of cultural understanding.
I'm talking about that. My presence there will be all about that to begin with. Our presence will be there because when I teach literature, or if I teach a cultural study, that's always directly connected to my passion. Also, as I am now so fortunate to be able to live through that. Within Inner Child Press, within that framework. So I think that will pretty much cover the Persian University. I am looking forward to the possibility to translate a literary work, or to have maybe my work translated into the local language. That's something.
And speaking of translations, did you give me a chance?
I didn't.
I want to share with you a gem of a book, which has set the model, in this building of cultural bridges. This is actually a book that was written by Hulya, and it was her first poetry book. She's written other books before, mainly for academia, but this particular book here, Trance. This is Hulya's first poetry book. Can you see it? You need to pick it up. This was groundbreaking for Inner Child Press, because this book actually was done in 3 languages, translated by Moa.
Yes.
Hulya is also a translator from German and Turkish into English, and vice versa. But this particular book has poetry in English, German, and Turkish. The good thing about it is the poems are the same poems in each language. So if you want to learn a little Turkish or a little German, here's your opportunity. But pick that up, France. You can find that on her page at Inner Child Press. So innerchildpress.com, under our authors, and click Hulya Yilmaz. Okay, you can easily find her. You can find her on Facebook under the guise of Hulya and Yilmaz. That's Hulyan Yilmaz, Yilmaz, or editing as a discipline, which is a page that she runs, stressing the importance of editing your work, because there's nothing worse than you being inspired to write something and your writing not be clear or understood. So that's her job. I throw everything on her lap as far as that's concerned.
I am the bad.
Okay. But from this book, Trance, we discovered something meaningful And we have been working very, very closely with our other board director, other board directors, primarily Nizar Sartawi and Faradine Shehu. I was honored last year where my book, Oh Sweet Kosovo, was translated into Albanian. Nah, we don't use that. But Oh Sweet Kosovo, that's downstairs anyway. Right? Yeah, don't worry about it. But Oh Sweet Kosovo is translated into the Albanian language and also installed in the school system, as a study model. Because a lot of school systems globally are now teaching English, as the first language, so they use that. We also had the opportunity to be in the University of Jordan, in Amman. And thanks to, again, Miriam Al-Saifi and Mr. Nizar Sartawi. But I wanted to talk a little bit about translation and how that helps build these bridges of cultural understanding. Nizar has been very instrumental in translating many, many, many countless writers and poets' works, into English and various other languages, Italian into Arabic and what have you, as has another associate of ours, Mario Wrigley, who is doing translation. But, get to know these people. They're wonderful souls that are striving, to integrate the various cultures, the various languages into other languages. And that's important. I myself have been translated into, I can't name how many different languages I've been translated, as has Julia. So people are getting to know our work. We now have a library program, institution program that we're putting together now. We're getting books into foreign libraries and foreign institutions of learning, whether it be schools or universities. And we find that this is integrally important, as we share our consciousness, share our words. So, stay tuned, for all that we're attempting to do, and pray for us that, we have the power and the fortitude to continue doing the work that we do. Okay. Talking about bridges of cultural understanding, there's two significant things, that I like to bring up. We think in terms of someone like Shakespeare, who is now required reading. Shakespeare was not of our culture here, even in America, even though we speak similar languages. But he has become required reading in a lot of our learning institutions. We think about someone popular like Rumi. Everybody's heard of Rumi. Rumi is Persian. He's not from the United States or Great Britain. However, as people, prolific translators such as Coleman Barks, have translated him and brought him to the West, we have been, our lives have been enhanced by his words. The words of Buddha, the words of Christ, the words of so many emissaries, so many bright lights amongst humanity throughout the years. You can be that word. So I'm getting ready to close now. We're getting ready to close. Anything else you want to say?
No, this was our number one. So
right.
You said it.
But what I want to leave you with is never underestimate the power of word. Your one poem, your one word, your one line, your one phrase, your one story could touch somebody and change their lives. Your one story can touch somebody to the point that they tell somebody else's story and it changes their lives. And it can go on exponentially from there. You move one person may move a million. And to prove that theorem, I'm going to give you this. There was a man who was in prison for a period of 27 years. During this 27 years, he read this one poem, which was written by William Ernest Henley. This poem's title was Invictus. The man was Nelson Mandela. Now, Nelson Mandela did not know Mr. Henley, and Mr. Henley did not know Mr. Mandela. However, the point is that Mr. Mandela was so moved by this poem, it was his fortitude. Each and every day he read this poem. I am the captain of my own ship. Maybe I should read the poem. What do you think?
I think you should.
Okay, this is the poem. Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeons of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The significance of this poem speaks for itself. But the significance of these words had a resounding effect on billions of people. So one poem written by one man, read by one man, read by many, many other people as well, but read by this particular one man, Nelson Mandela, was so invigorating, it helped him survive these 27 years of solitary confinement and imprisonment. Just or unjust, that's not the point. But this one man had a profound effect on billions of people globally. Your words have that same potential. So do not ever thwart your creation, thwart the spirit that comes to you to tell you to write or speak out. The world needs your voice. And I thank you. Anything else you want to say?
I thank you.
I thank you. And we're thankful for each other, and we're thankful for you for listening to our meager offering. God bless you.
We'll see you
And
next time.
see you next time around. This is our inaugural video, but we will be doing more. Thank you.
What do you think?
Why is this not ending?
Show me how to.